Warrior Line, Soul Tribe, Assembly's live, so come subscribe. Your soul's in trial, or simply tied. Your soul medicine, it gets revived. The Warrior Line, Soul Tribe, Assembly's live, it's friendly vibes. Your soul medicine will give you life. You're a warrior, let's get this right. Warrior Line, Soul Tribe, Assembly's live, so come subscribe. Your soul's in trial, or simply tied.
On your comment, but I also want to go back to what you were talking about when he shot his friends. What I got from that, watching it, was this is a reflection of the Black community at large. We're more than willing to hold our own accountable.
Yeah.
We don't need other people tisk-tisking and finger wagging, and we got it. You need to mind your business and mind your community who you can't unite with. Don't come for us. We'll take care of it on our own. And yeah, they were friends. And you know what? His friend decided to do something he shouldn't have been doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that little girl said, and she defiantly, as small as she was, stood up for herself. And she said, he's lying. I told him this was your truck. He still tried to steal from you. That's why he got it. That's why he got what he got. Right. Because he knew. And he even said himself, I'm not going to have anyone saying, oh, we tried to rob him and they're using both legs. No, you're not.
Right.
You're going to walk with a limp. Because I'm going to hold you accountable for what you tried to do. Mm-hmm. And I think that is also what friendship is. Mm-hmm. If you don't have psychological safety within a friendship, that isn't a friendship. But if you also can't hold someone accountable for the things they say and the things they do, and they just throw their arms up and scream, they have, what did I say they were calling it? Black exhaustion or whatever. It's Black fatigue. It's so stupid how they bastardize words to self-victimize. Mm-hmm. Just say you don't want to be held accountable for the garbage things you do, because we, as Black people, as a community, united, we understand holding one another accountable.
Right.
They think, well, one of you did this bad thing in the news, so all of you are bad. And we push back against that. Mm-hmm. We're not all bad.
No.
But we're supposed to look at you like you're not all bad. We're supposed to welcome the wolf in the hen house. Why? Why can't we have something of our own?
Right.
They clearly have something of their own.
Right.
And it's all masked in dress code and invite only and country club invites and okay, whatever. It's so stupid. What I loved about this movie was it clearly showed in real time accountability, holding your friends accountable. Mm-hmm. And it was funny because we've all been through it where we've had to hold our own friends accountable, as painful as that is. But that's how the love is there. The psychological safety is there, that you can call your boys out and you're not going to steal from me. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was brilliant. There's so many scenes like that in this movie where it's speaking volumes. And if you have the awareness of it, you get it. And if you don't, it's still entertaining. Mm-hmm. And I like that he presents this movie that way, that wherever you are in your understanding of history, of the Black experience, this is for you too. And it's for you to kind of process what you've seen, what you understand, and what things bothered you, what things were confusing for you. You have a computer in your pocket. Mm-hmm. After you watch the movie, take out your cell phone. Look up what these things are that you didn't understand and educate yourself. Mm-hmm. That way you can be a friend to someone. You can create a space where someone who's nothing like you can have psychological safety. Mm-hmm. You can open a pathway where you can really understand person to person, what is this even about? Because what I'm seeing today, it doesn't seem as big a deal as you're making it, because they don't understand what's behind it. And I think that's something that he communicated beautifully there was the Sammy, when he got older, after the post credits, which is super important to watch that part, Sammy himself said they love the blues, just not the players.
Yes.
They love the music as they lamely bob their head almost to the beat, but they somehow get it. They get what's going on. They just don't really understand all of it. And I thought that was really powerful, that we can all live in the same country, in the same space, in the same timeline, but we are never centered. They have to shut it down at every instance because it means they would have to take a painful look at what really is. And my thing is, if you're not willing to offer psychological safety to other humans, to fully witness them as they are, don't call yourself an ally. It's performative and it's embarrassing. And we see it. We see it for what it is. You're transactional. You're making a sign. You're selling the catfish. You're showing up to help because you're getting paid. You're not there because you want to be there. And there's no fault in that. Mm-hmm. But words matter. And calling yourself an ally when you truly are not is careless. It's important that we now more than ever show up for one another. It's important that we now more than ever hold one another accountable. I don't want to hear about Black fatigue. If I hear that, then that means you are not only not an ally, not only are you someone to block, you're someone to watch because it's dangerous. You're dangerous.
This movie was it was the American experience. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See, if Thomas Jefferson matters, so does Sally Hemings.
Yes.
If July 4th matters, so does Juneteenth.
Yes.
See, we like to look at the half of the story. It was a man called, what was his name? He is a radio man. He said, let's tell the other side of the story. Mm-hmm, see, the problem is we look at history and we never get full because we only get the experience that we are brainwashed or force-fed. Mm-hmm, George Washington cut down the cherry tree. Mm-hmm.
Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Mm-hmm,
and the Confederacy was sorry. And when you look at DEI,
the Civil War wasn't about slaves.
People are this DEI new. This ain't nothing new.
Right.
This DEI. You look at Reconstruction.
Oh my God.
Reconstruction was that they said, okay, y'all lost the war, bring in the troops. White people got mad, said no, get rid of the troops, and they created Jim Crow society. They backed out of the deal. They always back out of the deal because they want to destroy this story, this part of the story they don't like. We just like the edited fairy tale version, and then when you see a movie like this that shows you the name of what are you fatigued about? The name of the movie is Sinners. Mm-hmm. So when they hear them, I go in and I'm thinking, if you understand the word sinners, right? Mm-hmm. These some messed up people. Right?
Yes.
I'm going to see some sin. What do we see? Right. We've seen all 7 sins. We've seen pride. We've seen greed. We've seen gluttony. We've seen all the wrath, sloth. We've seen all the what we call the 7 sins, right? In Black people. So what are you fatigued about? We're showing you that we're not afraid to this is my point, that we're showing you we're not afraid to show you that we aren't presenting ourselves as these pristine. Y'all don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. Y'all, when I said you don't want to got monuments built to slaveholders. Mm-hmm. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. When I stand at the King,
well, they have monuments to slaveholders, but then they finger wag and tell us, "Why don't you let it go?"
Yeah, but
slavery was so long ago.
So I got to look at the King Memorial, right? And then I look across the Potomac River. What do I see? The Jefferson Memorial. Mm-hmm. Okay, what's wrong with this picture? So to the movie though is we are not afraid to show you our vulnerability, our dark
humanity,
our humanity, but our love for people. What are you afraid of? They are the one who are afraid to show you the ugliness of what they did. You don't want to show what you did. You the one want to hide. We're not afraid. We are not afraid to show you that we went out in the woods and created a club to party, to be free, to express, to be open, to be unshackled, unchained, loosed, whatever word you want to insert. We did that, and we did that because that's what we had to do in the culture of society. And so it was blackness, but beyond blackness, it was humanity. Because whether you show it or not, we're not dumb enough to and not foolish enough to understand that all societies, all peoples, all cultures have these issues. You know,
I like that the juke joint, when the vampires came. So it was all the community, right? They all work hard. They're from different plantations. They set up their own place to let their hair down and relax. We don't have to be, centering and catering to other people. We can center ourselves and enjoy ourselves and have our own safe space where we can, have a good time. But here come the vampires at the door, the culture vultures. He just wants to enjoy the music. He just wants to hear Sammy play. When the reality is he wanted to come in to kill Sammy, to steal his talent so that he himself can have visions of his Irish ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
That is also what we're seeing today. It's a recurring theme. A lot of these things are recurring themes. And so what we're working with now is like I've said many times, we are not our parents. Be as fatigued as you want. Who cares? I'm not going to erase my humanity for your comfort. I'm not going to pretend what happened to me never happened. Right. I'm not going to pretend that there are not systems of oppression in place that restrict and bind me and don't allow me my full potential. And
can I say something about the vampire while we're on it?
Yes, go for it.
But even the vampires had a code. You know what the code was? The code was, we can't come in unless you invite us.
Right.
White supremacy does not care about a code. They just destroy it, and people don't want to see that. Even the vampires had a code. Even we want this, but we still have to go through a process. My point is, why does everybody have to have a process, and people are fatigued and all this kind of stuff? Well, you don't think we're fatigued? Who suffered? I mean, you want to talk about fatigue? Look what the last 100 days was. You're talking about. I don't hear about fatigue. Look what the last 500 years was. But look at what black women have went through. But even in this movie, back to the movie though, even the movie, they had a code, Jennifer. We must be invited.
Yeah, that's vampire lore.
We can't just. That's even beyond. That's many humans' lore. We just can't just go bang down the door. No, if I come to your house, even though we talk about, I'm not going to just come in. I don't just come in your house. I don't care if we are friends. It doesn't work that way. I'll just bust in your house and say, hey, we're friends. It don't work that way. And so that was the beat of that moment. It's even they still said, we're not going to break our lore. Because there's a lot of people that say they have lore until they come to black people. It's a lot of rules until they come to black people. It's like, I hear about these lore and rules. You know what I'm saying? But it's always different rules. It's always been different rules when it comes to dealing with black people.
Well, the KKK is its own form of religion and cult, and that man sold them that barn.
Oh yeah.
And they even told him, don't come back with the Klan because we will shoot you where you stand. And he, of course, says what everybody says, right?
That's what I'm saying.
There is no Klan. Okay, but then the next day they showed up, right? And they were ready.
Yeah.
And so I just, this is the thing. This is the thing about friendship. If you can't be vulnerable in a friendship, the other person is hiding something, and it's usually a knife and behind their back. Mm-hmm. And they like to say, oh, well, you guys are unfriendly. You're unwelcoming. First of all, it isn't our job to be inclusive. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If I'm offering you my friendship, you should be grateful that I'm even willing to do that. After everything that's been said and done, we are actively working on building community. And, the people who are coming, waiting to be invited, the two boys, sorry, I'm a little bit old, so I can say that. But the two men, Smoke and Stack, they both had different women on their arm. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go too deep into it. They both had two women on their arm. One chose freedom one way, and the other one, with Annie, the heroine for me, he fought to his last breath on his terms as a real man, holding his gun, shooting down the very thing that threatened to destroy him. Mm-hmm. When they're in the juke joint, is Grace the daughter or the mother? I forget, but the Asian woman, she aggressively asked, weren't you in the military? Aren't you really ready to fight? Now, of course he is. But part of fighting is you have to strategize, stupid. You have to figure out what your strategy is, who goes where, what supplies do we have. And this really, really, for me, captured the beauty of Black organizers. People are lamely saying, where's the Black people? Where's the Black people? Well, okay, there's a problem. We have to address it, but you have to understand the problem before you create the solution. You have to be able to organize, who needs to be where to do what, wherever. But in the end, he was the same man standing on his own 2 feet with his gun, doing his thing before he collapsed and had a cigarette, which also I thought was interesting. We're bringing cigarettes back in cinema. Cool. Not that I smoke, but yeah, right. Whatever. Right. But I really thought that was interesting that he fought the final battle by himself. And when he died and he saw Annie and his baby girl, that's what made me think of you. I was sobbing uncontrollably. Mm-hmm. I can only imagine what your experience in this country is, having Black daughters, knowing how much this country hates Black women. And if we don't fit their, strict Eurocentric standard of beauty, we're deemed worthless. Mm-hmm. And if we do fit that Eurocentric standard of beauty, we're open for abuse. Mm-hmm. And it makes it very dangerous. Well, but I thought,
now you struck a chord, man. I wasn't planning to go in here, but I have to now since you went there. I mean, that, I'm just gotta be honest. This ties to the movie, but that what happened to me in November 5th, 2024. What I seen what happened to that black woman, mm-hmm. Told me everything I need to know about this country and where they still are with Black women. Mm-hmm. And Annie had me thinking about my daughters again in this visceral way, that these people, the Black women, and the way they had still treated, you're talking about fatigue. Mm-hmm. Black women who were enslaved, Black women who were raped, Black women who were put on breeding floors, Black mm-hmm. women whose baby was stolen from their arms. I mean, mm-hmm. you can't relate to that. We can't mm-hmm. You can't even process a movie. Mm-hmm. You can't process a movie. We can't process that. And when I look at Annie and what she did and how she did it, is what Black women have always done. Mm-hmm. And they look what this country did to a Black qualified woman over a degenerate loser that everybody knows is a loser. Look how she was treated. So, and I got to be to these parties, to Democrat. Y'all can try to, and I see what's going on already. Y'all trying to set up these people. I'm not falling for it. I'm not because I will not forget. I'm not going to ever forget what happened. My daughters, we talked about that, and it's still a conversation that it's really hurtful for them. Because it was no, we talked about what you go through at your job, and what you're so qualified, overqualified, but it's still not enough, Jennifer. It's still not enough because your skin, in your case, your sex always comes. And
they move the goalposts all the time.
Move the goalposts, and even in this movie, what I loved about it, we talked about it, and we'll just be open about it. Here's a voluptuous, I guess what they would call a BBW or whatever. Let's just be real. Not one or two, Annie, and not two, showing beautiful black love. You can call them what you want to. Had a child, lost a child. It was a beautiful expression of black love, not some perfect 10 or somebody who everybody be, a dark skinned woman, black woman who wasn't a mammy, who wasn't Aunt Jemima, who expressed that was so beautiful. And I thank Ryan Coogler for that because he broke the stereotype mold that y'all don't get to define beauty. Y'all don't get to define, y'all meaning white supremacy. You don't get to define what beauty is to us. You don't get to define how we choose to express our love. And it was just a beautiful thing, and it truly moved, and my daughter and they was thankful for it, and I was thankful for that moment. People they want to understand, but they don't have to understand. But yeah,
the actress who played Annie is stunningly beautiful. Let's start there. She is a stunningly beautiful woman. The way people were talking about her in relation to someone else was disgusting.
Yeah.
But her character, the way he put her on the screen and gave her the solid strength that she had in her skills, whether it was cooking or her hoodoo skills. She has things of value to contribute, but also she was beautiful and feminine and soft and vulnerable to her man, to her husband. I forgot they were married. They're married. That's her husband. That's not her boyfriend like the other one. That's not his wife, but he laid with her in the barn. She's married to a white man. Okay. Annie is, she's the voice of reason. She is the idea that a man has to be masculine and the woman should be submissive is foolish. A power couple is when two people equally respect each other, when they both bring something to the table and they join their talents together. And that's what that couple was. They were a power couple together. Separate, they can hold their own. But in the end, when she told him, make sure you kill me, because she knows that the culture vultures, the vampires, they're going to take her gifts. She didn't want them to be empowered with her ancestral gift. She wanted him to protect it for the culture, right? Don't give it to them. Don't let them take it from her. So he had to kill the woman he loved. And I love the way that she was portrayed on the screen as someone with great value and great beauty and presence and femininity and
she knew, and wisdom. She knew she was at the door. She knew that the guy at the door had been turned. She knew. She knew.
Yeah, because she was asking questions.
Yeah, she knew. She said, "You got why you need an invitation now?" She knew. She knew what was going on. as what they've always, black women, they've always.
Oh, and she was also asking Cornbread that.
Yes.
You brought your big ass body through this door many times. Why are you asking now?
Yeah. You can write.
In the end, when he was dying and he saw her and he joined her and their baby, how did they portray her?
Mm-hmm. Soft. Yeah.
She was very soft and loving and elegant and nurturing and kind, and that's who she was when she was alive. If we remove the lens of white supremacy and see people really for who they are, that would move us ahead as a society in a whole. But I love that. I love the Annie character so much.
Yeah, because we haven't seen it on screen. We haven't seen it on screen at all, really, because you got to go with the stereotypes and what people want to see, what Hollywood executives want to portray in our community.
Well, and I also think that speaks to how we're prioritizing beauty. If we're going by Eurocentric standards, who is that beauty for? Mm-hmm. I'm not a dark-skinned woman. I have been big. I have been super skinny. Now I'm just regular. But seeing that on the screen for me was powerful because I don't want to fit Eurocentric beauty standards. My worth shouldn't be tied to whether someone I don't even know wants to have sex with me. Mm-hmm. That's stupid. Black women generally come in three shapes. Very skinny. I think that's the ones who have the Eve gene. I don't know if you've heard about that, but I won't open that can of worms. And then there's the curvy ones, not fat, not skinny. And then there's the really strong ones who are bigger, right? Like that statue they erected in New York that everyone's making racial jokes about. We have these body types because of what we've been through and what we've endured. Mm-hmm. If we were back in those days, I would be in the house being tortured by the woman of the house and being abused by the man of the house. Mm-hmm. And this is why this is offensive to me. Whose gaze am I supposed to be catering to? Because I choose not to cater to anybody's gaze anyway. But just as a woman and as a Black woman, I'm interested in seeing accurate representation of what Black beauty is. Again, Annie is gorgeous. The actress who plays Annie, she is stunningly beautiful.
Yes, she is.
So for him to make that conscious decision, I felt was really powerful, and I hope that my fellow Black women also connect with that, because it's rare that we're even given proper representation like that, regardless of your skin shade. But I'm not going to sit here and lie and pretend that women who have darker skin and who have their natural hair and who aren't part of that whole Eurocentric starvation gaze thing, they're not beautiful. They are beautiful. And I want to see more of their representation, because they do have worth and they do have value. And the main thing why I want that as a Black woman is it's hard to see someone's humanity when you're superimposing their image as a monster. They're aggressive, they're strong, they're intimidating, they're mean. Annie was none of those things. She was existing. And in the end, when she died, she was fully in her femininity because she wasn't in survival mode.
Warrior line, soul tribe, assemblies live, so come subscribe. Your soul's in trial, it's simply time. Your soul medicine, it gets revived. The warrior line, soul tribe, assemblies live, it's friendly vibes. Your soul medicine will give you life. You're a warrior, let's get this right. Warrior line, soul tribe, assemblies live, so come subscribe. Your soul